So I'm finally out on adventure with the new little boat, and as you can see, it's pretty packed up now with stuff here, stuff there. Yeah, it's just a big mess, but it's okay. And I've been sailing for one day, so I made it to this island where I'm at right now, called Bohusmalmen. So I walked around here yesterday afternoon and explored the island a little bit. And this morning I'm gonna keep heading north on the west coast of Sweden. So probably 3 or 4 hours of sailing today, and it's gonna be a really big rain weather coming in. So I'm just gonna pack on a lot of rain clothes and get some stuff out in the cockpit and just hang out in the cockpit the whole day basically. And yeah, let's see where we end up. Now I'm in the Sota channel. This is like a long channel that runs on the inside of this big island, which is over there, and then mainland of Sweden is this right here. So it's a really nice channel because it's so sheltered and it runs for quite a long way and just super protected, but it gets really narrow at some places, and because it's so protected it's also very crowded in the summertime. So now it's all good, but in summertime you can have like really big boats coming here and meeting each other, and it can get quite messy, but yeah, now it's just nice. We got quite a bit of wind, so we've been doing a bit of sailing today, but the reason why motoring so much is because it's something wrong with it's leaking diesel from the diesel fuel pump on the engine. So it's not leaking too much, but it's dripping slightly. So I want to get to marine service place as soon as possible, which is about 6 or 7 nautical miles from here. So I'm just motoring pretty quickly to get there, so they can hopefully sort it out today and maybe tomorrow, so I can get going, because I really want to get north and get to Norway as soon as possible. I wish that my new autopilot was working properly, but unfortunately it's just steering straight for like 10 seconds and then losing course and whatnot, so it just doesn't feel safe to use it now where there's so many islands and it's so narrow everywhere. So yeah, if it would be working, I would just be sitting under the doghouse right now and just enjoying myself, taking it easy, but now I have to sit out here in the rain and hand steer all the way. So yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. I'll have to have a look at that as well when we get to shore. I've just arrived at my destination called Hamburgsund, and now it's time to take a look at the engine and see what the problem can be. So here you have the engine. It's a Janmar 2GM, and yeah, as I said before, the fuel pump is leaking. It's this little thing right in here, in there, you can see something just right there. It is. So I'm gonna have a look at it now and see if it's leaking anything more, and hopefully there's no diesel in the oil. I think I might have found a leak. It's time to call it a day, and unfortunately the mechanic didn't show up today, so yeah, that was pretty strange. But yeah, I'm gonna go there when they open tomorrow morning and make sure someone gets here so we can sort out the problem with the fuel pump, and yeah, then I'll hope I'm leaving late tomorrow or early on Friday so I can get going towards Norway. This morning the mechanic came here and he decided that it was the fuel pump that was the problem, that the membrane in the fuel pump is leaking. So he took away the whole fuel pump, and now I am taking away some kind of glue that is sitting, that was keeping the fuel pump tight towards the block, the engine block. So I'm gonna remove all that, and then he's gonna come back with a new fuel pump and mount that. Engine is working perfectly right now, and it seems like there's no dripping from the fuel pump anymore, so yeah, it seems like we're leaving tomorrow morning for the outer islands called Vedrana, and then the day after tomorrow, Norway. I'm on this little line fare right now, which is taking me across this tiny little sound to the island. It's called, I don't really know what it's called now, but it's a pretty big island here in the archipelago, and it's sheltering this sound completely where my boat is lying in this harbor as well. So I'm gonna try and make it to the north part of the island, fly some drones and just check it out basically. I think it's gonna be a pretty cozy place, so let's see. I didn't bring any bathing clothes, and kind of regret that right now actually. I think it's still pretty warm in the water as well, so it's another day. So tomorrow morning I'm heading straight out over there. I think we might be able to see it right here. It's called, it's like a few islands further out from the coast called Vedrana, and then I'm gonna stay there for like one and a half days. And then keep heading the same direction towards Norway. So yeah, looks nice. I don't think that you guys can see this, but right on that small island with that lighthouse over there, there's two big chiefs standing on top. It doesn't look like there's much grass or anything on that island, so maybe they swam out there to have a little bit long time. So this little crossing to Norway, which I'm gonna do in a couple of days, it's not that far at all. It's only like 50 to 60 nautical miles, but it feels long somehow. I don't know, like we sailed back to Sweden like 1 year ago from Scotland, and that was a 3-day passage, 300 nautical miles, and it felt like, yeah, that's basically nothing. We just leave Scotland and we'll be in Sweden in 3 days. It's totally fine. But this time around it's like gonna be 12 hours or something, and it feels long. I don't know, like it's interesting how you change. Like when you're out sailing all the time, you're doing crossing stuff, you're like, oh whatever, a few days of sailing is nothing. But now when I've been on land for a year, this feels longer. So on these big islands here on the west of Sweden, this was usually the case back in the 1800s, 1900s. They were just mining a lot of rocks here, so rocks for basically the streets in the cities and to build buildings and stuff like that, and some of these rocks got actually shipped all the way to South America. So if you're in Argentina or something, you might see them, and Buenos Aires, for example, I know have some rocks from the west coast of Sweden, so pretty cool. Out on the ocean again, and we're heading out through the archipelago now, going by engine for a little while past the islands because we're doing some fishing as well, trying to catch some dinner, some mackerel, and then we're gonna sail the last 5 nautical miles out to the islands, try the mainsail, which haven't been up yet, and actually the autopilot is steering pretty well as well, so it's a good day. Sailing super good right now. We're on a bit of a tack, a bit of a reach, or whatever you call it in English, and the autopilot is actually steering pretty good, so seems like I have figured it out just before the crossing to Norway, so that's a very good thing. But yeah, looks super good. Just before I set the sails and shut off the engine, I was just gonna pull up the fishing bait because I got no fish, but then all of a sudden, just mackerel. Actually got 4, but I threw back 2 of them because I figure I won't eat more than 2 myself anyways. We made it to our destination, which is this island right here, and now we're just gonna go around the south point and in on the inside because we need a really good sheltered spot right now for the next few hours because there's a gale coming in from the south. So it's gonna be strong southerly winds up to, yeah, I don't know, like 30 knots or something. So we gotta be pretty well protected for that. But I think there's a good spot right in there. So I just tied up the boat and the wind just picked up and it started pouring down rain. Yeah, it's just magic. But I've been sailing. I haven't been taking it fast either. I've been going pretty slowly, fishing, sailing, testing the boat and the autopilot, and now it just starts pouring down. So I'm just gonna show you guys how I tie the boat up now for the gale that's coming up later on. So in the back here I got 2 lines, so one spring coming back to the aft cleat and then one double line going to the back, which doesn't take any pressure at the moment because the wind's coming from the front. And then in the front here we got some 2 lines in the front with a rubber dampener, and then we got another spring here, so quite a bit of ropes and a lot of fenders as well. So yeah, now the gale can come. I think it kind of arrived already, but yeah, the thing with this one is that it's going to blow straight into here more or less, so it might get a little bit wavy. So yeah, but it shouldn't be more than 3 or 4 knots more than this now, so it should be fine.